Hi students! For this video, you will learn completing the square. But before that one, please watch first the video of Sir Charles about perfect square trinomial. I will put the link below in order for you to check. If you're done watching, I will give you two examples in order for you to understand more what is perfect square trinomial. It is important to know perfect square trinomial in order for you to understand the process in solving completing the square. After watching the video of Sir Charles of the perfect square trinomial, let's try this activity. Let's make this equation perfect. So we have example number 1, which is x squared plus 4x plus blank. We need to find the missing constant term for this equation. In order for us to find the constant, we need first to identify the value of our b, and the value of our b is 4. We need to divide the value of b to 2, then square it. So we have 4 divided by 2 squared. 4 divided by 2 is 2, then squared is equal to 4. Therefore, our constant is 4. After we find the constant, let's find the factor for this equation. We need to extract square root for the first term. So the square root of x squared is x plus the square root of the last term, which is 4. So the square root of 4 is 2. Then square. So the factor for x squared plus 4x plus 4 is the quantity of x plus 2 squared. Let's have this second example. The equation is t squared minus 20t plus blank. We need again to find the constant. Identify first what is b. So you have b is equal to negative 20. Then, let's proceed to the next step. We need to divide this by 2. So you have negative 20 divided by 2 squared. Negative 20 divided by 2 is negative 10 squared. Just a few reminders. Negative 10 squared is not negative 10 times 2, but instead it is negative 10 times negative 10. So our answer is positive 100. So therefore, our constant is 100. We already have an equation that is a perfect square trinomial, which is t squared minus 20t plus 100. Let's proceed to our next goal, which is to find the factor for that equation. So, let's have our quantity. The square root of our first term, which is t squared, is t. Now, we need to put a minus sign because we have two different signs in our equation. We have minus and we have plus. So, we need to put the minus sign. So, we have t minus the square root of the last term, which is 100, is 10. Then squared. So the factor for t squared minus 20t plus 100 is quantity of t minus 10 squared. Now we will proceed to the completing of the square. It is important for you to understand completing the square in order for you to identify the values of x or the roots of quadratic equation. Here are the examples. A while ago, you have learned the perfect square trinomial. Now, let's apply what you have learned. Let's have this x squared plus 20x plus 75. If you can observe, it is already complete. We will integrate it to our main topic, which is completing the square. We will try completing the square in order for us to identify the value of our x. So you have x squared plus 20x plus 75 is equal to 0. the first step in completing the square is identify first what is the value of our a. The value of our a is 1. A is equal to 1. If the value of your a is 1, we will proceed to our next step, which is we need to put our constant on the right side of the equation using addition property. And it goes like this: x squared plus 20x plus 75. 75 is positive. Therefore, we will subtract 75 to the both sides of the equation. Minus 75 is equal to 0 minus 75. Let's simplify the equation. X squared plus 20x. 75 minus 75 is 0. 0 minus 75 is negative 75. If you look at the left side of our equation, we need to make it a perfect square trinomial. So using what you have learned a while ago, we need to divide 20 by 2, then squared. You have 10 squared is equal to 100. We will add 100 to the both sides of the equation. X squared plus 20x plus 100 is equal to negative 75 plus 100. We need to simplify it. X squared plus 20x plus 100 is equal to 25. Now, we need to find the factor of this equation. Square root of the first term, which is x, plus the square root of 100 is 10. Squared is equal to 25. For this step, we need to find now the value of our x. In order for us to eliminate the exponent 2, using the square root principle, we need to extract square root on the both sides. X plus 10 squared is equal to 25. Extract square root, extract square root. So we can now eliminate 2. The remaining values are x plus 10 is equal to, if we extract square root, it has 2 possible values, the positive and the negative 5. A square root of 25 is 5. Now, let's find the first value of our x. X plus 10 is equal to, we will use first the positive 5. X is equal to 5 minus 10. X is equal to negative 5. We will now proceed to the second value of our x. X plus 10 is equal to, we will use now the negative 5. So you have x is equal to negative 5 minus 10. X is equal to negative 15. So we have 2 values of our x. We have x is equal to negative 5 and x is equal to negative 15. If you already have the value of your x, we will proceed now to our checking if your value of x will satisfy our equation. In order for you to identify, we need to make sure that the both sides, the left side and the right side, will equate to 0. So let's substitute. We have negative 5 squared plus 20 times negative 5. 75 is equal to 0. Negative 5 squared is 25 minus 100 plus 75 is equal to 0. 25 minus 100 is negative 75. Plus 75 is equal to 0. 0 is equal to 0. Let's proceed to our next value, which is negative 15. Let's substitute negative 15 squared plus 20 times negative 15 plus 75 is equal to 0. So we need to simplify. Negative 15 squared is positive 225. 20 times negative 15 is negative 300 plus 75 is equal to 0. 225 minus 300 is negative 75 plus 75 is equal to 0. So we have 0 is equal to 0. Therefore, negative 15 is also one of the values of x. Let's have this example number 2. You have 2x squared plus 8x minus 10 is equal to 0. First step, identify the value of a. The value of a is equal to 2. A is equal to 2. Because here a is not equal to 1, the process is we need to divide all terms by the values of a. So, we need to divide the all terms by 2. Simplify. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So, you have x squared plus 8 divided by 2 is 4. So, you have 4x. Negative 10 divided by 2, you have negative 5 is equal to 0. Just a tip, you already know how to make it into completing the square. So you can pause this video and later you can check if your answer is correct. Now let's proceed. After dividing the values of a to our equation, let's make it to our next step, which is put our constant on the right side of the equation. So you have x squared plus 4x is equal to 0 plus 5. We have x squared plus 4x is equal to 5. We need to make our left side of the equation a perfect square. So you have 4 divided by 2 squared is equal to 2 squared is equal to 4. We will add 4 to the both side of the equation. X squared plus 4x plus 4 is equal to 5 plus 4. X squared plus 4x plus 4 is equal to 9. Now, we will find the factor of our perfect square trinomial. We have x plus 2 squared is equal to 9. Using the square root principle, extract square root on the both sides. We have the square root, we have the square root. So the remaining values are x plus 2 is equal to the positive and the negative 3. We use first the positive value. So we have x plus 2 is equal to positive 3. Then x is equal to 3 minus 2. The first value of our x is equal to 1. For our next value, we will use negative 3. So you have x plus 2 is equal to negative 3. X is equal to negative 3 minus 2. Then x is equal to negative 5. After we find the two values of x, we will now proceed to our checking. We will now proceed to our checking using the first value of our x, which is 1. Just simply substitute 2 times 1 squared plus 8 times 1 minus 10 is equal to 0. In order for you to know your answer is correct, two sides must be equal to 0. So you have 1 squared is still 1. So 1 times 2 is 2. Plus 8 times 1 is 8. Minus 10 is equal to 0. 8 plus 2 is 10. Minus 10 is equal to 0. So 0 is equal to 0. For the next value of our x, we have negative 5. Just simply substitute. We have 2 times negative 5 squared plus 8 times negative 5 minus 10 is equal to 0. Let's simplify. So you have negative 5 squared is 25 times 2, it's 8 times negative 5 is negative 40. Minus 10 is equal to 0. 50 minus 40 is 10. Minus 10 is equal to 0. So 0 is equal to 0. Therefore, your first value of x is 1 and the second value of x is negative 5. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. And please don't forget to like and subscribe for our channel.